Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Now, from what I can see on social media, it looks like NDAs are starting to lift on Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. I mean, the film's been out for technically nearly a month, so over the last couple of days, I've seen some brilliant behind-the-scenes photos of Bill Skarsgård's Count Orlok makeup. I've been dying to talk about it. Obviously, I've got to wait till NDAs lift and the special effects artists can start to post behind-the-scenes stuff, but there's also some featurettes that are showcasing Bill in makeup, you know, with a different type of voice and kind of behind-the-scenes breaking character, which is really cool. Now, in terms of where these featurettes come from, I have no idea. So I've actually got a few shout-outs and people to thank for posting these photos, especially when it comes to seeing the makeup in light, like to see those details, to see all the details of the rotting skin, the rotting ear, and of course that beautiful glorious mustache. So I'm just going to be screen recording this. We're going to go through the photos, and again, this is just essentially like breaking down the makeup and how it works and how it moves, and also just given the fact that I still, for the life of me, even in harsh lighting, cannot see Bill Skarsgård in this makeup. A massive shout out to Geek Freak, who posted all the behind the scenes stuff on her stories, including the clips I'm going to show you, which is really cool. Now, I've also got David White of Altered State Effects, who did the effects, or headed the effects for the film, most notably Count Orlok's makeup. I'm really keen to see more of this, proper turnarounds and stuff like that. Andy MFX, so he posted the photo this morning, I think. So I'm pretty sure this is like a concept sculpture, and then they go in, really refine it, and then break it down for the silicone prosthetics. Now, usually I'd say spoiler alert, but like I said at the beginning of this video, this film has been out for nearly a month technically, so it's out in the open. Behind the scenes photos are coming out. We have an official cardboard cutout which reveals the makeup, so fuck it. Now, before we go over all these photos and that one particular clip, like I said, I cannot for the life of me see Skarsgård in this makeup. I think the only one time, the split second, because it literally is a split second, is the very opening where you see him over Lily Rose Depp, and it's the Skarsgård eye, the Bill Skarsgård cock eye, his right eye, because it's very reminiscent of what he did with Pennywise and stuff like that. Even one shot of the Crow, his eye's a bit wonky. So I think that's the only time where I'm like, oh, that's the Bill Skarsgård trademark eye. All right, so we're actually starting off with an officially licensed cardboard cutout of Count Orlok, which is awesome. So you just really get to see the makeup, the costume, everything, and it is official. So I love the costume for Count Orlok. It's so nobleman, very Transylvanian nobleman. I love the hat as well. And we're going to get to the hat. There's a beautiful behind the scenes shot of the costume wrangler putting the hat on Bill Skarsgård. This is great. If this is life size, this thing would be an absolute beast, because I think Skarsgård's like 6'4", and then apparently with those lifts in his shoes, he ended up being close to 7 foot tall in all that makeup, that costume, that big, beautiful, heavy fur coat. Incredible. And that was just a more up close, like HD shot of the cardboard cutout. So if we zoom in, I mean, look at all the beautiful details on that costume, man. It's just so cool. So here's the clay sculpture I was talking about. Again, this is probably like a concept design and stuff like that. And then they go down, then they go in and get rid of the mustache, the clay, and then detail it and then break it down for generated silicone prosthetics. So what I love is the stuff you didn't really see in the film. Like, I totally forgot he had like a humpback going on there. You see like bits of tendon, muscle, things that have just been worn away, eaten at, rotting away, like the bit of the missing ear. It's very reminiscent of Part 1 Freddy from A Nightmare on Elm Street with David Miller's makeup, and he's like burnt hole in his charred ear. And again, this does not look like Skarsgård, and this is on like a clay pour of his life cast or a digital scan that's been 3D printed or milled out in foam. But this is essentially just to work out all the angles, and they probably do lighting tests with this type of stuff just to make sure this is going to hit all the right notes for what Robert Eggers is aiming for. Now, I'm assuming this is from the end of the film when he dies in Lily Rose Depp's arms. And it's that beautiful tracking shot where the sun comes up and he starts bleeding from the eyes and stuff like that. This looks great. This looks very horrifying. I love the white eyes, and even like the mustache is somewhat of a throwback to the original description of Dracula, and with inspirations of Vlad the Impaler. So his mustache for the most part in this film is brown, but this looks pretty white, which was the original description, which is cool. This is from a shot in the trailer that wasn't in the film. I don't know if Robert Eggers said this was part of a makeup and costume test and just an overall screen test once everything was completed, and Bill was in the makeup and the costume just trying to get a feel for the character. But I think this is sort of an extended take of that shot of him with his back to the camera, and he slowly turns around, and right before you see the makeup in its entirety, they cut. This one made me giggle because not only does he not have his hairpiece or his mustache on, but Skarsgård looks like the Giga Chad Squidward. It's the first thing I thought of, and I'm not gonna lie, without the mustache and the hairpiece, this makeup does not impress me. It's crazy how the mustache was so controversial, and it still is to this day. A lot of people have problems with it, but I think those are people that don't understand this is going back to the original source material from Dracula and Vlad the Impaler. But without the mustache, it throws the makeup completely off. This is a great shot here of getting some touch-up work, and then again, seeing that hairpiece, the mustache glued onto the appliance, onto the silicone prosthetics, it just brings it all together. I love even the fact that his ears are being eaten away and rotting away. It kind of gives the illusion of the classic Count Orlok ears from the original Nosferatu. Like, they were intact, but they were pointy, they were sharp, and like, he's obviously very clean cut, clean shaven and stuff like that. But this rotting corpse, and it would cast that silhouette almost of the original Nosferatu. I love the lighting as well, just the grays, the blues, the look of decay, not only in the makeup, but the costume as well, man. Speaking of, I actually took a screenshot of the costume. So this is originally posted by someone who went to a display from the costumer and stuff like that. But I just really wanted to focus on Count Orlok's costume. Like, all the costumes in the film are beautiful, but again, that big, beautiful, heavy fur coat, the hat. I don't know if that hat has a proper name. I'll have to look it up. But also the boots that had lifts in it to elevate him to nearly 7 foot tall, and the silhouette it casts when Nicholas Hoult goes and visits Orlok in his castle, and he's standing in front of the fireplace, and it just has that big, foreboding, brutal look to him with the fur coat. This is a great shot here. This is behind the scenes. This is when he's doing a scene with Lily Rose Depp. But again, just look at the silhouette it casts. It's like he's got Tom Hardy traps, Tom Hardy Bane traps, and the eyes as well, just highlighting how disturbing those eyes look buried in that makeup. And I think, as they say, eyes are the window to the soul, and he absolutely nailed it. Speaking of nails, here's nail application here. So it's great. Like, they have nail technicians on standby, because let's face it, Count Orlok's nails are essentially a character in themselves, because they play a big part in the silhouette, what makes him him. And so much so, that's what Robert Englund took inspiration from for the character of Freddy. He drew inspiration from Nosferatu with the way he maneuvered his claws, and then also Jimmy Cagney for the stance. So it is amazing to see the detail, the level of detail and care that's gone into this design. So remember I said we had a photo of one of the wardrobe technicians putting the hat on, and seeing this makeup in such harsh light go from those controlled blues and grays to a lot more harsher light. Now, from what I can see, I could be wrong, he could be getting a 3D scan done, because you see the cameras mounted on the rig there. That's usually for 3D scanning purposes of, say, CGI, like when they got to render the character in CGI and something has to be a digital effect, or it could just be for archival purposes, which they do a lot. They scan the actors in their costumes and just, they do nothing with it. They just archive it, and that's pretty much it. So those are the behind the scenes photos. And last but certainly not least, we got 2 clips here. One is of Skarsgård essentially breaking character, because Robert Eggers was being interviewed before this clip, and he said it's so hard stamina wise for Bill to be in that costume, be that tall, be so foreboding with the voice and everything, that he encouraged him to break character, have a rest. And as you can see right here, he has a different type of voice going on. It actually reminds me of Johnny Knoxville. Check it out.
Oh yeah, it's her, all right. It's her.
And the last clip is of Skarsgård without the makeup on his face, but he has the claw makeup on. And essentially they're just doing, I wouldn't say it's B-roll shots, but hero shots of the claw, because like I said, the claws plays such an integral part in the film because of the shadows that he's cast, and the shadow is essentially another character. So check this out. And there you go, guys. That was a cheeky little breakdown. Well, me trying to break down the makeup of Count Orlok, played by Bill Skarsgård in Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. In terms of the design, what are your thoughts on it? I love it. I would love to have like a little half-scale, even a full-scale bust made and 3D printed, mold it, cast it, then do the moustache, the hair, all that, and have like the nice fur coat as like a nice museum bust. I'm getting way too ahead of myself, but it's definitely something I'd love to take a crack at. Love you guts. And I'll catch you in the next one.